Okay, this is Steve coming at you from our dock on Shoal Marina. This is the B2B and SP to SP narrative or conversation. And the B2B is, everyone knows about B2B, it's business to business. And we have some revelers here. People on our video adding some commentary. YouTube! And we have people coming in from playing out at sea, sailing, racing. It's a Wednesday. It's a beautiful day. It's been kind of wet and miserable and windy, and everybody's out racing today, so there's lots of fun. But B2B, in this case, stands for something different. It stands for Ballard to Balmoral. And Ballard is where we are. Shoal is part of the ship canal, the fish ladders, the locks that are into the big lakes in Seattle, Lake Washington, Lake Union, Salmon Bay. And Ballard is at the core of that, and it's the nautical, maritime, Viking, Norse community. We have a two-story statue of Leif Erikson right out front of Shoal Bay Marina. And so it's a very progressive, very blue, very Scandinavian, very interesting culture that we have here in Ballard. And the two part, that's TWO, that's a pair of memes, Ballard and on the other side Balmoral, as well as we're talking about relationships. We're talking about two or more people, not just a single individual. So we spell it TWO, and I won't go into the letters of what T and what W and what O mean, but they're very, very large, and they're more powerful than just TO or TOO. And Balmoral is where the Illuminati, the wealthy, the longest reigning monarch almost in the history of the UK live as their main place of abode, Balmoral Castle. And this is about going from Ballard to sovereignty, to the castle, to living a very, very different life. And that's the B2B part. And then the SP to SP part, which is the second pair, the second TWLO pair of memes, is the same. Both of the SPs are the same, and they're the reverse of Puget Sound or Paul Marks and Sunny, which are my wife and myself. I'm Paul Marks, she's Sunny. Or Postscript, which is what we've somehow managed to pass by and no longer script and no longer write longhand and not teach kids longhand cursive writing, which is insane, absolutely certifiably insane. And so this SP to SP is about that insanity, as well as Puget Sound, which is where we're broadcasting this from, and this is starting from. And it means silk purse to silk purse marketing. Silk purse to silk purse marketing. And that's a departure from almost all marketing, because almost all marketing is to the sow's ear. Almost all marketing is to the person who is a normal, which is a meme that we see more regularly now, which is a derogatory, not what you want to be. You don't want to be normal, you want to be abnormal. You want to be beyond normal. You don't want to be ordinary. You don't want to be the same as everyone. You don't want to be equal. You want to be different. And so if you dissociate yourself from the normals, then you have a chance of sovereignty, which is Balmoral Castle. And that's what we're talking about here when we talk about silk purse to silk purse marketing. We are going after silk purses. That means people who have money, people who have influence, people who know what they're doing already, people who've paid the price, done the tango, built the businesses, people who are already silk purses. And the two silk purse means, guess who they call? they don't have to pick up an 800-pound phone. In fact, they may even have speed dial at the touch of their voice when they have the equivalent of a recording vocal that they speak out loud. The phone picks up magically. It's not that 800-pound device that we used to have to pick up in order to call the next cold market prospect. It's simply their voice saying, I want to call this other silk purse I know who has a lot of money, a lot of influence, and who is going to pick up on this really quickly because they've done the big horse deal where we have the horse racing syndicate and nobody knows whether that horse is going to win the Triple Crown. Nobody knows whether their seed is going to sell, but they put into it anyway, in advance of that horse being born. That's a silk purse. That's somebody who has vision. That's somebody who takes risks. That's somebody who gets involved in the syndicate, who gets involved in the limited partnership, who puts money in when there's no guarantee, like there is at the end of 2 weeks when you get a day job, of having some money. And they are willing to take a longer amount of time before they get paid. And maybe they don't get anything, and then they put in again because they have the money, because they've done the dance, because they've already come to the big party, the big dance, and they've rolled the dice and lost, and they've rolled the dice and lost again. And finally they rolled the dice and won, and maybe they won big, and then they lost again, and again, and again, and then on the fourth time around, a second time they finally hit it big, and now they're on the Forbes list. And that's not well understood, that you have to fail, and then succeed, and then fail a bunch more times, and then succeed, and then you hit the big one. And that's silk purse recruiting. This is a recruiting business. Most all business is about recruiting. Whether you believe it or not, whether you admit it or not, most business is about recruiting. It's recruiting a customer, it's recruiting a joint venture partner, it's recruiting a spouse, it's recruiting a team member, it's recruiting a silk purse so that you have somebody who's talented and somebody who has influence, somebody who knows what they're doing already. And you don't have to make them into a silk purse from a sow's ear. You don't want sow's ears around you. You want silk purses who call other silk purses, and then you have a thermonuclear explosion called viral marketing of large players, people with clout, people who are on the top 1,000 of Twitter, people who have large volumes of people listening to them and will take action if they say to. That's silk purse to silk purse marketing. That's what we're doing this month. We're going to raise hundreds of millions of dollars in the process, and nobody is going to know what just happened. This is from 50 years of working at this across many scores of marketers who have each 10 to 50 years of experience in this, and that makes an electronic tribal marketing instantiation happen. And when it happens, it's not something anybody's ever seen before. Probably not in the history of business. Probably not. This is big. This is different. This is monopoly power. This is what a blue ocean strategy is about. Creating brand new market space where none existed before. That means there's no competition. We don't even worry about rendering the competition irrelevant because there isn't any. Not in a monopoly power situation where you've created demand where none existed before, or it actually did and you just tapped it. You figured it out. You supplied the good. That's an economic term for something people want, and you have it. And we've got DOSEC, as in Dos Equis. That's DOSEC, dopamine, oxytocin, serotonin, endorphins, and cortisol. Those 5 chemicals are what we're selling. We give people a life. Maybe for the first time in their life, they finally have a life. A way of making a very large amount of money, helping their charities, helping the world's wildlife and the world's living systems, which if we don't help them, we go extinct. And that's probably not a good idea because we can't really talk about this stuff if we're extinct. There's no mulligans, no putting the golf ball back on hole number 1. if we're extinct. Uh-uh. So we don't know if we can even solve that big problem and keep humans from going extinct, but we're going to work for the wildlife, for the Earth's web of life, for the oceans and for the land habitat and for the rainforests and for the whales. Humans are going to benefit if we get this right. But we're not going to benefit humans directly so much as we are the wildlife. Humans will have to come to this party, have to come to this big dance, and help us do something for the wildlife for the first time. For the most part, wildlife has not had an advocate. They have been taxed without representation for many thousands of years, and we're tired of that. We would like to see the wildlife have an advocate, have a guardian ad litem, had a rep that looks out for their interests and builds financial structures that support them. Not human. This is philanthropy. Philanthropy, that's love of animals as opposed to philanthropy. And oh, by the way, philanthropy, humans are also animals, and they might actually not go extinct if we get the wildlife. That's not humans. That part of the equation accurate, and we actually do something for them big. I mean, really big, where they own many, many billions of dollars worth of lifestyle marketing assets that are very difficult to turn away from. And people join, and people make money for whatever charity they want, and their own personal net worth, and the wildlife benefit. That's silk purse to silker purse technology. Silk purse to silk purse marketing. That's whales, hunting whales, and helping the Mississippi whales. Those are the ones we've lost 197,000 out of 200,000 blue whales in the past 100 or 200 years, a small amount of time, and we need to turn that around. So this is Steve signing off from the end of Ardoc in Shilshole. Ballard to Balmoral. That's where we're going in the next couple of months. Get on board or withdraw and just flip the remote and watch us on YouTube or on the cable channels as we produce billions and billions of dollars for the world's wildlife.